Okay. So we will begin with the training schedule, what we are having and how we are going to proceed, that we will discuss. And along with that, we will cover the first topic of today's week. Okay. So let's get into this. So whenever we are doing the training schedule, we will form a committee with what exactly the trainees or the interns going to learn and how they are going to proceed. Okay. So this training schedule has been done with two committee members from one is the ex-Indian Army, he's honorary captain, and another one is assistant scientist at VECC, the Department of Atomic Energy. Okay. So we have taken the approval from the committee. We have discussed a lot what we are going to do and how we are going to do. So by that way, the approval has been done. So the second one is training committee. So three faculties, myself, including myself and Aishwarya Dara and Ginny Raj, they will be going ahead and they will be conducting weekly. Maybe I may be available or some other faculties will be available and they will be continuing the topics as per the schedule. Okay. So let's see what we are going to cover in this training period, because that is very much important. We have already told that this is an outcome based training as well as internship. So outcome based means to understand the what you are learning and how you are going to apply in the field. Okay. Because you if you want to be an extraordinary engineer when you are coming out of the degree, right, you have to apply the knowledge. That is very much important. Either you can go for any company to work in any company, or you can start your own startup, but you should have some objectives and outcome, right? So this learning program outcomes are listed over here with weekly wise. Okay. So today we will be covering the atmospheric conditions, and surely you will be getting the importance of calculating atmospheric conditions, why it is need to be calculated not only in earth. If we are entering into moon's atmosphere, right, then we have to calculate how the moon's atmosphere is going to be, right? How the Mars atmosphere, how the other planets asteroids atmosphere is going to be there. Okay. So that we need to understand. So although here we will be covering with earth atmosphere, similarly NASA is having various type of softwares and tools to predict for Venus, Mars, and other planets also there. Okay. So understanding the importance of atmospheric conditions and how to use that conditions for our design purpose. Okay. So that today we will be learning. So in next week we will be learning about forces and components acting on the aerospace vehicle. So here you will be understanding that what are the parts, what are the major components in an aerospace vehicle, both aircraft and spacecraft, and how it is going to help for during flight. Okay. So when we are when the aircraft is flying in the atmosphere, or when the rocket is launched, right, so how the components are going to help and what are the factors correspondingly, right? If we are having a component and which is moving in the air, it will generate forces. Okay. So what type of forces are acting in the aerospace vehicle or aircraft, as well as what type of movements. So there are, when there was a force is there, then correspondingly movements will be also there, right? So what are the movements also acting in the aerospace vehicle, that we will be learning in the second week. So in the third week and fourth and fifth, right? So this is very important phase where you will be exactly learning about an aircraft from takeoff to landing. So as a designer of an aircraft, okay. So I hope you might have flown in the aircraft before. If you have not, then you know the understand the concept also, right? How the aircraft is flying and other factors you are well aware of that. So here, okay, my voice is not audible. My voice is not audible. Kindly someone type and say it is. Yes, you are audible. Okay. Clear. Kindly check. You can reconnect also. You can check. Okay. Right. So this 3 week is very much important phase. Why I am saying is we will be learning from this. See, this is zero. Velocity is equal to zero because initial velocity of any car or bike, any automobile vehicle and any aircraft, it will be initial velocity will be zero. So this is takeoff, taxiing in the airport. So ground run and then takeoff. This is climb. What I'm drawing is climb. This is cruise. This is descent and this is landing. Okay. So this is takeoff. This is takeoff performance. Okay. So I will be teaching you how it is acting. Everything I will be teaching. So you don't need to worry about that. I will be going on everything. So this is climb. Okay. So in the third week we will be seeing both the takeoff and climb. So I am not going to teach along with theoretical alone. I will be teaching with numerical also. So what you will be able to understand on this topics. So I will finish this. This is cruise. Cruise. So cruise means level flight. Okay. Cruise means level flight. Okay. So this is descent. This is descent. So this is landing. Okay, this is landing. So this is a general flight path of any aircraft. Okay, general flight path of any aircraft. So if we take a space shuttle, right? NASA space shuttle or India's RLV. India is also having reusable launch vehicle. Okay, so I will show you a picture of that. Okay, so here you can see that. So this is ISRO's RLV. Okay, so it will be launched with the solid rocket boosters from the Earth and it will be landing like an aircraft. When it is coming back, it will land like an aircraft. Okay, so this is a space shuttle, US space shuttle. Now it is not used, but if you see the landing phase will be like aircraft. Although the takeoff phase will be different, but landing phase for space shuttle will be same as like these two phases will be covering. Okay, so descent and landing will be covered even by the space shuttle and ISRO's RLV also. Okay, ISRO's RLV also. Okay, so what exactly we are going to learn? That might be you might have the doubt, right? So what exactly we are going to learn? So let me clear that. At this 3 point, suppose if you are sitting in an aircraft. So let's consider you are sitting in an aircraft. Okay, so the velocity, initial velocity will be 0. If you learn this entire topic from takeoff, climb, cruise, descent and landing, so at the end of the training, when you are flying next time, you can easily calculate and you can understand each and every phase what the pilot will be doing. First thing. Okay, so when I'm going to teach this 3-week session, you can easily understand. Next time when you are in the aircraft, you can easily understand that what pilot will be doing with these 3 phases. Okay, sorry, with this 5 phases of a flight. So this is called as flight path. Flight path. So second one is, after learning this particular 5 phases, right, in the flight path, you can design your own aircraft and you can understand what are the parameters required for designing an aircraft. So first thing is you can understand how the pilot will be going to fly the aircraft, that you will be understanding. Second one is you can design and you can calculate the performance parameters for your own aircraft. Okay, so that is most important thing, because designing, when you are having a knowledge in mechanical field or electronics field, whatever it was, right? But design is very much important. Okay, so if you are from electronics background or any computer science background, so depending upon your core area, we will be assigning the project. Okay, so no need to worry, but even though you need to understand how the aircraft is going to behave at the three phases. Okay, so then at the sixth week, we will be learning about design concepts of supersonic and hypersonic aircrafts. So hypersonic aerospace vehicle we can put. Okay. So at this section, we will be learning about how to design a re-entry vehicle or re-entry vehicle non-winged configuration. So this is space capsules. Space capsules. Okay. So space capsules. And apart from that, space shuttle design will be also discussed at the same duration. Space shuttle design will be also discussed. Okay. So space capsules, I hope you might have seen that Apollo mission and even Crew Dragon, right? SpaceX Crew Dragon is also one of the uh, space capsule. So this is Boeing Starliner. Similarly, the shape will be changing with designer to designer, and many other people will be also changing the like the shape of the space capsule will be also changing. So we will be studying about how the shape is determined and why, what is the necessary of determining with the conical shape, why it is not with a different type of like space shuttle, what is the difference between the space shuttle and this space capsules. So all these things we will be learning in the sixth week. And the seventh week, yes, the extension of this. Okay, so CAV, here we are just focusing with the aircraft like supersonic aircraft and hypersonic aircraft. Similarly, we can say this is related with Rafale type of aircrafts. Okay, so Rafale type of aircrafts. This is hypersonic. You might have heard the DRDO HSDTV, right? DRDOs. So that regarding to that we will be discussing here. And design concepts of non-winged space capsules. So that is here, and winged re-entry vehicles. That is our ISRO's RLV and NASA's space shuttle. So at the end of the training period, we will be concluding with advanced aerospace vehicles. So what are the aerospace vehicles we need to design for future, whether it is a space station or whether it is going to be any other planetary missions. So how we can proceed for the design, all those things we will be covering. Okay. So have you understood what we are going to learn in this particular training period? Because that is important, right? Have you understood that? Please type in the chat. Yes. Okay. So others, please type in the chat. Have you understood what we are going to learn in this phase? Yes. Okay. Okay. Right. So that's why this is just focused for non-aerospace engineers. So today's session we will start with Earth atmosphere. Okay. So Earth atmosphere and international standard atmosphere. So although you might have studied in your schoolings, right, how Earth atmospheric layer is there, and few things may not be covered for you at that time also in schooling also. That is one of the important parameters is the international standard atmosphere. Why the international standard atmosphere is there and how it is going to be very much helpful for understanding in a better way. Okay, so let's begin without wasting time. So this is a typical variation of temperature and pressure in the Earth atmosphere. So why we need to calculate and why we need to understand the atmospheric layers. See, in your schoolings you might have learned these layers, right? So like a simple definition you have learned, this is the Earth surface along with the Earth surface, and this is after such particular height. So like that you have learned. But being in the aerospace sector, or if you want to design an aerospace vehicle, then you should understand that how the pressure and temperature is varying from altitude to altitude. Okay, from one altitude to another altitude, how the pressure and temperature is varying. Okay, so depending upon that only we are classifying this, right? Depending upon the altitude we are classifying the atmospheric layers. Okay, so let's see how it is varying. So just focus on the graph first of all. See, before starting that, I will suggest one thing. You just write it down or note it down, some factors, okay, and some concepts which I am teaching, okay, because in the later part when I am trying to explain something, the previous equations or previous definitions may be needed. Okay, so if you note it down, then it will be obviously you will able to remember, so that won't be much difficult. Okay, so I will try to explain as much as easier for you guys. Okay, so if you have any doubt in the beginning, you can always type and you can always unmute and you can speak. Okay, right. So let's see how in the troposphere region how the pressure and temperature is varying. So troposphere region, so it is an altitude from the sea level. Okay, so this is 0 kilometer, so we will be calculating from 0 kilometer from the sea level. Okay, so the altitude is keep on increasing to 10 kilometer. So the altitude is keep on increasing to 10 kilometer. Okay, so 10 kilometer means our Everest is 8848 meter, right? 8848 meter, that is 8.8 kilometer, right? Everest height 8.8 kilometer. So what happens with the temperature and what happens with the pressure? When altitude increases, the temperature drops. Okay, temperature drops suddenly. As well as the same time, pressure will be also start to drop. So here you can see. So this is sea level temperature. We will be taking as 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so sea level temperature will be taken as 15 degree Celsius. This is a reference point. Okay, but when you are this is related with the international standard atmosphere also, but when we calculate with specific location, it will be varying. Okay, but overall international atmospheric condition, it is set with 15 degrees Celsius. So as altitude increases, the temperature will decrease, simultaneously the pressure will be also decreasing. Okay, so the pressure is 1000 millibar at the sea level, and at the 10 kilometer altitude it comes to 100 millibar. So it reduced by 1 by 10th. The pressure is reduced, decreased by 1 by 10th of sea level pressure. So many fighter aircrafts are many training aircrafts are two-seater aircraft or even some passenger aircrafts are flying in the troposphere region only. So troposphere region which is lies between 0 to 10 kilometer. Okay, so there are some variation is also there, 0 to 10 kilometer and 0 to 15 kilometer. I will explain what was the variation. Okay, but according to this graphical method, we are going with 0 to 10 kilometer is troposphere region. Okay, first layer. So the fighter aircraft will fly with stratosphere region, but although it has to begin the phases, every aircraft, every rocket, every missiles will need to pass this troposphere region. Without this troposphere region, it is not going to be take off. Okay, so the initial stage. So the pressure drop and temperature variation is need to be studied. The reason is the aircraft engine, right? The aircraft's engine is air breathing engine. So usually the aircraft engine will be air breathing engines. Okay, air breathing engine. So jet engines, one of the example is jet engine, right? So depending upon the mass flow rate only, mass flow rate of air only, the our output is depending, right? Engine's output is dependent on inlet air intake, mass flow rate, and outlet mass flow rate. Okay. So when I am speaking about mass flow rate, so mass flow rate is given by m dot is equal to rho a v. Rho is density, a is area, v is velocity, right? V is velocity of the air. So this is mass flow rate. So inlet mass flow rate will be determined with the density of the atmospheric condition. So what happens here already pressure is decreasing by 1 by 10. Of course, what will happen to density? Density will also decrease by at the variation of altitude. Okay, when altitude increases, pressure is decreasing, density will also decrease. Okay, pressure is P, density is given by rho. Okay, rho. So both pressure and density will decrease. So when density is decreasing, our mass flow rate is also decreasing, right? Engine inlet mass flow rate will also decrease. So what happened? The thrust generation will also decrease. Okay, mass flow rate at the exit will also decrease. So in order to understand how much density and pressure variation at each and every altitude, because the aircrafts, some aircrafts will fly with 1 kilometer altitude, some aircraft will fly with 2 kilometer or more than 2 kilometers, some aircraft will reach up to 10 kilometer altitude. Okay, because Everest height itself 8,848 meter. So if the aircraft want to cross the Himalayan region, okay, suppose if you want to cross the Nepal and we want to go China, then we need to fly over this altitude, right? So nearly we need to fly more than 10 kilometers altitude. So how the pressure will be there, how the density will be there, how the temperature will be there, that need to be determined so that our engine can adjust it to produce the required thrust. Okay, so that is why we are studying this earth atmosphere and the variation of pressure and temperature with altitude. So similar type of graphical representation will be available for other planets also, but time to time they are now only determining that. Okay, they are now only determining that. So that is not accurate study was done yet, although approximate study has been done based on earth atmosphere, but accurate study will be coming. It will take time, and it is also one of the research which is going on. Okay, current trend it is going on with space agencies. Okay, right. So the layer between troposphere and stratosphere is tropopause. Okay, the layer between troposphere and stratosphere is tropopause. Okay, so now coming into the stratosphere, most of our fighter aircraft, right? Fighter aircraft will be able to fly at this altitude. Okay, 10 kilometer, above 10 kilometer, but not 50 kilometer and all. It will be flying with less than that. Okay, so 10, 15, 20, that is okay, right? So below that, it will be flying. Okay, so in 0 to 10 kilometer, our passenger aircrafts and other small aircrafts, helicopters, right? So that will be flying. So fighter aircraft can reach in the stratosphere also. So hypersonic aircraft, if we are developing a hypersonic aircraft, that can also fly in the stratosphere. Okay, hypersonic aircraft. Okay. So what happens at this stratosphere region is, again the density is decreasing, again the density is decreasing, and pressure is also decreasing. But what happens to the temperature? The temperature at the stratosphere region will increase. The temperature at the stratosphere region will increase. So how it is increasing? Because we have heard about the ozone layer, right? So when the layer is impacted in the troposphere, we are saying that as altitude increases, temperature drops. But when we are speaking about stratosphere, as altitude increases, the temperature will start to increase also. Okay. So if you see here, there is a fluctuation over here, but there are some factors have been said that in stratosphere region, the temperature will remain constant. Okay. So remain constant means it will be like a inclined straight line, right? So some factorial representation was given with temperature remains constant. So where this temperature will be constant? So that is, they have divided this stratosphere into two phases, that is lower stratosphere region and upper stratosphere region. So flying at about 10 kilometer, that is not a easiest job. Okay. So flying about 10 kilometer is not a easiest job. We have to because you can see the pressure drop. So pressure at 30 kilometer itself, it is coming to 1 millibar, right? So pressure drop is 1 by 100 time, 1 by 100 times the sea level. Okay, so the designing has to be done according to the situation. Okay, right. So since the stratosphere is given with upper stratosphere and lower stratosphere, in lower stratosphere it is determined as like 10 to 20 kilometer. Okay, we can say 10 to 20, 25 kilometer. The temperature will be constant. Okay, the temperature will remain constant. Okay, then it will start to increase. Okay, so increase means, see here it is 0, right? So this is positive, this is negative. Okay, so that's why we are saying decreasing, negative is decreasing, and then it is coming again to trying to make it in a positive. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that it is increasing, but although it is not crossing the 0 degree, so although it is not crossing the 0 degree, okay, because our ozone layer is protecting that. Okay, so as stratosphere, the in lower stratosphere the temperature will be constant, then it will start to increase, but it is not going to cross the 0 degree temperature. Okay, so then the mid of stratosphere and mesosphere is called as stratopass. Okay, so what happens again with mesosphere? The temperature is again dropping, so it is dropping to minus 90 degree also, minus 90 degrees Celsius. So you can check the altitude of mesosphere, 50 kilometer to 90 kilometer altitude. So more than 40 kilometer altitude is there, right? Again the pressure is dropping very much high, sudden pressure drop is there. So at the end of mesosphere, that is mesopass, that pressure is dropped with 0.001 millibar, 0.001 millibar. So think about, if we are having this much less pressure, how we need to keep the cabin pressurization system. So when we are launching rockets, right? So aircraft will stop at this phase itself. Aircraft, airship, right? It will stop here itself. So the rockets, missiles will be entering into the mesosphere and thermosphere and exosphere, upper layer also, outer layer. So we know that at 100 kilometer we are having Kármán line, right? Kármán line. Kármán line. Okay, so Kármán line is at which the gravity we will start to experience gravity less. Okay, but gravity will be there, but we can say that gravity is very much less, and we can feel that it is gravity less environment. Okay, Kármán line. So crossing that line is very much important for space capsules or any other interplanetary missions aerospace vehicle. Okay, so in the thermosphere region, that is 90 kilometer to 500 kilometer region. So 90 kilometer to 500 kilometer region. So at this phase, our International Space Station is also there. International Space Station is also there. Okay. So after 500 kilometer, we are saying that it is exosphere or extraterrestrial planets. Okay, exosphere. Okay. So this is what an atmospheric, Earth atmospheric layers. Okay, how the pressure and temperature is varying. So what happens with temperature after mesosphere? So once it is reaching the minus 90 degree drop, after 90 kilometer, the temperature will increase rapidly. That is, that phase is thermosphere, and the temperature will reach 1000 degrees Celsius at 150 kilometer. Consider that 1000 degrees Celsius at 150 kilometer altitude, and it will be having a peak of 1780 degrees Celsius at 70 kilometer altitude. So 700 kilometer altitude. So this is 700 kilometer altitude. At that time, temperature is 1780 degrees Celsius. So if you are flying in the troposphere region, the materials whichever we are currently using, that will be very much sufficient for aircrafts, helicopters, and even drones, right? That is sufficient. Whatever the materials we are using in sea level altitude, if you are flying in the troposphere region, this is fine. But when we want to fly in the mesosphere and when we want to fly in the thermosphere, the materials which we are going to use is need to satisfy the lowest temperature also minus 90 degrees Celsius and the highest temperature of 1000 degrees Celsius also. So think about that. When I am launching a rocket, so it has to, the material need to be designed for to withstand the minus 90 degrees Celsius also, and also the capsules. So space capsules will enter into the outer exosphere. Let's consider, okay, or if it is going to International Space Station, okay. So it is going to dock with International Space Station and it is coming back to Earth. So it has to cross this 1000 degree Celsius, okay, because 150 kilometer itself 1000 degrees Celsius is there. So when the capsule is coming back, the capsule need to be designed in a such a way that it can withstand 1000 degrees Celsius, because the capsule is used for human transfer, right? Space capsules. So when passengers or humans are over there in the capsule, our astronauts are over there in the capsule, when we are trying to re-enter, and if we cannot able to withstand this 1000 degrees Celsius, right? So 1000 degrees Celsius is not a easiest thing, right? Even when we are in going out with the sun, like 40 degrees Celsius itself, it is burning the skin, right? So 1000 degrees Celsius is huge. So when we are re-entering into the Earth atmosphere, we need to know at what altitude we are going to re-enter, how much temperature at that time we are going to experience, and how we are going to make our materials to withstand that. Okay, so that is why we are learning this at atmospheric conditions. Okay, so I hope you understand why we are going to learn and what is the benefit of learning this pressure and temperature. So whatever I have explained, it is given over here again with layer by layer. So let's see. So here you can see, as I told, weather balloons will reach 40 kilometers and contrails, so 6 to 12 kilometer, clouds 6 to 12 kilometer, and like various clouds is also classified with various type of parameters, like so nacreous clouds. These things you can learn on Wikipedia if you are really interested, but we are just overall covering how the Earth atmosphere is there. So ozone layer, troposphere region, and stratophase 50 kilometer altitude, mesophase 80 kilometer altitude. So aurora, right? Green aurora, right? So clouds, and if you see International Space Station, right? So that is around 330 kilometer to 410 kilometer altitude. 410 kilometer altitude. So meteoroids will enter up to stratosphere region. Up to stratosphere region, the meteoroids, the asteroids which is destroyed, which is coming into Earth atmosphere, that is meteoroids. So if it is entering, it will reach up to stratosphere and it will burn up. Maximum the meteoroids will be burned up. Some will land in either in land or sea. So this is overall atmospheric layer which we have explained earlier also. Okay. So how the temperature is decreasing, rate of decrease. So this 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer means, so this is troposphere region. Okay, troposphere, first region is troposphere. So this is 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer. So what that indicates, so when we are flying with varying in altitude, see zero level, right? Zero is sea level, but even our locations, right? Mumbai will have different altitude. Right now I'm in Chandigarh. Chandigarh will have different altitude. Shimla will have different altitude. Chennai will have different altitude, right? So altitude variation will be there exactly for each and every type of uh, locations wherever we are there. Okay. So from that place only, if the aircraft is going to take off from Mumbai, so we need to understand how much altitude Mumbai is there with respect to sea level altitude. Okay. So how you can find that? You just type in this Google itself. See, so it is approximately average elevation is 14 meter. Okay. So the highest point in the city is 450 meter. Okay. So that was a hilly region. So this is for Mumbai. So similarly, if you see for Chandigarh, it is showing 3 to 1 meters above sea level. Okay. So if I am taking for Shimla, 2,200, 2 kilometer. So 2 kilometer altitude. Okay. So it will be coming here. Right. So that's why if the aircraft is taking off from the Shimla, they need to do the calculations according to this 2,000 meters. Okay, they cannot use the sea level parameter itself. That's the important factor why we are learning this atmospheric condition. Okay, so temperature decreases literally at an approximate rate of 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer. So that indicates, suppose at this point if it is 283 Kelvin, so this is 0. Okay, so at 1 kilometer altitude, 6.5 will be reduced from this sea level altitude. Okay, so what happens? it will come to 276 approximately. I am writing, okay, 276 Kelvin. So at 2 kilometer altitude, again 6.5 will be decreased, so approximately 270 Kelvin. So at 3 kilometer altitude, again 6 will be decreasing to 3.5 Kelvin. Can you understand that? So this is 0 kilometer, that is sea level, and this is 1 kilometer and 2 kilometer and 3 kilometer altitude. For each kilometer, the temperature is decreasing with 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer. 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer for each an altitude in the troposphere region, not in the stratosphere, not in the any other layer, only in the troposphere region. The temperature is dropping with 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer. So if I am taking off from the Shimla, I need to understand that I'm having 2 kilometer altitude, right? Nearly in Shimla, I'm having 2 kilometer altitude. So my temperature at Shimla will be around 270 Kelvin. Okay, so by that way, we can easily understand the troposphere region. Okay, easily understand the troposphere region. Okay. So another variation is that when we are calculating tropopause, the layer between troposphere and stratosphere, when we are calculating the tropopause height of the tropopause, suppose if I am standing in pole, north pole or south pole, and if I am trying to calculate the tropopause height, it is showing me only it is 9 kilometer. But when I am standing in equator and if I am calculating the tropopause, it is showing it is 16 kilometer. So that's why the scientists have taken that the tropopause is a layer. It lies approximately between 9 kilometer to 16 kilometer. So although the international standard atmospheric condition is stated with 10 kilometer altitude is our troposphere region and tropopause will be over there itself. But many countries like US and other countries, depending upon their location, they are following their own altitude variation. So here you can see this image. In this image you can see tropopause is given with 12 kilometer altitude. Okay, so because that is each and every country will have to calculate their atmospheric condition. If ISRO want to launch a satellite or any rocket or missile, right? Even DRDO want to launch a missile, they will calculate the weather conditions. Okay, so according to that only they will try to launch and they will try to understand, okay, what happens exactly. So the variation of troposphere and tropopause will be varying from the equator and pole, and it need to be adjusted accordingly. Okay. So stratosphere, which we have told 50 kilometer. So at the stratosphere region, we will experience high velocity winds. So wind will be high. So temperature remains constant up to 25 kilometer. The temperature will be constant. Okay, then it will be increasing. Okay, so the highest point is stratopause, which we have seen earlier. So the mesosphere is the layer, third layer, which is going with 80 kilometer. So the temperature decreases about 90 degree. It is not 900, it is 90. So it is degree. Okay, 90 degree minus 90 degree in this region. So in mesosphere, the pressure and density are very low, but some compositions of air is still remain at the mesosphere. Some composition. So the highest point of mesosphere is called mesopause. So the ionosphere or thermosphere is a region where above the altitude, right? Above the altitude, it is given above the mesosphere, right? Above the Kármán line, it is given with that. So the temperature increases to 0. So here you can see the temperature will come back to 0. In mesosphere, it is minus 90 degree. So the temperature will come back to 0. That is Kármán line. Around Kármán line, it will come back to the 0. there is increasing, the temperature is increased to 0 at 110 kilometer, and to about, this is also 1000 degrees Celsius. Okay, 1000 degrees Celsius at 150 kilometer, and 1700 degrees Celsius at 700 kilometer. Okay, so some electrical phenomena like aurora borealis occur in this region. Okay, so you can read about this. This will be very much interesting if you see this green clouds. Okay, so lightnings of Iceland they will be seeing. Okay, so you can read about this aurora borealis. So the exosphere is the outer fringe of Earth's atmosphere. So this is where we are interplanetary mission will be starting. Okay, so international standard atmosphere. So every nation will follow their own atmospheric condition, but the aircrafts are not going to fly with one country alone. If it is starting from India, and if we want to land in US, so obviously we need to cross either China, or we need to cross Pakistan, or Dubai, or any European countries we have to cross, right? So what happens when I am taking an aircraft? It needs to cross many countries. Even though I want to land in US, but in between it has to cross many countries, right? So India will follow its own standard of atmospheric condition. Pakistan will follow their own standard of atmospheric condition. European countries, they will follow their own standard of atmospheric condition. So in order to avoid this confusion, all the nations have joined together and they have developed this international standard atmospheric condition. So this was finalized by International Civil Aviation Organization. International Civil Aviation Organization. Okay, ICAO. So like our India is having DGCA for approval of aircrafts, civil aircrafts. So Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Like US is having FAA. So they are the most advanced persons in the entire world, FAA. So whatever the rules they are making, it will be followed by ICAO. And when ICAO is following, all the countries need to follow the same rules and regulations. Okay, so most contribution will be given by US FAA. Okay, and secondary it will come to European agency. Okay, so if you want to fly from India, and if you want to fly China and Japan, if you want to cross there, and if you want to land in US or Canada, then you need to follow this ICAO regulations, not with DGCA regulation. DGCA regulation will be applicable only in the country. Suppose if you are taking from Mumbai and if you want to land in Chennai, then DGCA's regulations will be allowed and it is approved. But when we want to fly with international condition, then we have to follow ICAO rules and regulations. Okay, so this international standard atmospheric condition was made by ICAO, and it will be followed by all the pilots and designers also. Okay, so standard atmospheric condition, temperature at sea level 288 Kelvin, and which is nearly about 215 degrees Celsius, and pressure P naught indicates standard sea level condition. So 1.01325 into 10 power 5, or we can say with 1,1325 Newton per meter square, which is approximately equal to 760 millimeter of mercury. Okay, 760 millimeter of mercury in terms of. So rate of change of temperature is also called as lapse rate. So how the rate of temperature is there? So at up to 11 kilometer, that is troposphere region, minus 6.5 Kelvin per kilometer, which I have explained earlier. So since in the stratosphere region temperature is constant 11 to 20 kilometer, the temperature is constant, so it is given as 0 Kelvin. So no change, 11 to 20 kilometers, so no change. In the stratosphere region 20 to 32 kilometer, it is increasing positive 1 Kelvin by kilometer, increasing. So here the negative means decreasing, here positive means increasing. Okay, so we are having some formulas to calculate the pressure, temperature, and density at each and every altitude. So even we can calculate gravity also at each and every altitude, how it is going to the gravity is changing from low earth orbit, like from sea level 9.81, but when we are going with altitude, how the gravity is also changing, that also we can calculate. Okay, so equation of state is given with P, pressure is equal to rho r T, gaseous constant R, density, gaseous constant, and temperature. So if I want to calculate pressure at any altitude, so if I know the temperature and density, and R is 287, so if you know that, we can easily calculate the pressure. Okay, so there was one problem is there, so we will have in the next session the problem related to international standard atmospheric condition. So at that time you can understand how this temperature variation has been done. Okay, so we are having 5 minutes more, so if you have doubt, we can speak up right now. If you have doubt, you can type in the chat. So have you understood how the temperature and pressure variation in the earth atmosphere? Kindly type in the chat. Yes. Okay. 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 So that is more important. Okay. Whenever you are learning something, you need to apply that. You need to apply that in the particular field. Okay. So that's why we have taken. See, we cannot derive all the equations because uh, it will take much time. We cannot explain all the terms, right? But I will try to do my best in a better, easiest manner to understand. Okay, so to solve the problems, I will be teaching whatever the formulas are necessary to solve some particular problem. Suppose if you want to calculate pressure at 10-kilometer altitude, right? So the formula we will be using is over in the screen, right? Pressure at that at 10-kilometer altitude. So this is height. Pressure H means height is 10 kilometers. So P10 by P naught. P naught is 0. P0 is sea level. Sea level pressure is we have determined already. That is constant. Okay. So this is so is equal to temperature at 10-kilometer altitude divided by temperature naught, that is sea level temperature, by power to G, gravity 9.81, lambda is lapse rate. So lambda is called as lapse rate. Whatever we have seen right now, lapse rate. So this is mentioned as lambda. So if my aircraft is flying with within 11 kilometer, then I have to take this value as my lapse rate. If my aircraft is stratosphere, lower stratosphere, then I have to take this 0 Kelvin. If it is flying in the upper atmosphere, then I have to take 1 Kelvin per kilometer. Okay. So if I substitute in this formula, easily I can identify how much pressure is there in each and every altitude. Similarly for density also. So I have to use this formula to calculate density. Okay. So when we are solving a problem, you will be able to understand easily in the next session. Okay. So if you have doubt, if you have any queries, you can come up and you can speak up with that. So Sadak,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
have you understood that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I have understood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Nandini Rajesh. Nandini Rajesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Have you understood that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So if you have any queries, you can always type in the chat and you can always discuss, right? So in the next session, we will be solving a problem related to that. So in the meantime, right, in this week, meantime, general about your personal informations like about yourself, and we will introduce, and we need to make formalities like AACT internship, right? We are providing AACT internship, so we are having various formalities to complete procedures. Okay, so I will ask our team to give the details. So kindly provide the details back. Okay, so that we can update and we can proceed for application of AACT internship. Okay, so as much as soon we are doing that, then that will be good. Okay, so with this we can end today's session and we will see you in the next class. Okay, another thing I want to share is, see, this today's session is recorded and it will be available in our THEMS platform itself. Okay, so where it will be available, let me show that. In the same research training program, November 2020, I will share this name. Okay, I hope you can see. So here itself, it will be coming like for non-aerospace engineering training lectures. So I will be having a folder over here, and then if you enter that, each and every lectures which is recorded will be available at this place itself. Okay, so suppose if you miss any lectures or if you want to learn again, you are almost welcome and you can learn again within this time period of 3 months. Okay, right. So with this we can end the session. Thank you. Have a good day.